All right, welcome to this video. It's David Mailer again, your man on fire mentor, and we are going to dive right in and get to today's topic that so many of you wanted to learn about, which is what is the top 2 ways to get her back and discover what's been in the way of you getting her back and find out what she's really thinking and wishes that you knew. And I'm going to teach you a 60-second breathing technique to grow your attraction. So let's dive right in. Welcome to everyone that showed up for this video. Make sure you're commenting below and letting me know along the way what you're learning, what you're hearing, what's landing for you. Send me emojis. I love the fire signs. All right. So what are the top 2 ways to get her back? All right. First of all, let me share that there is no gimmick to this. There is no game to this. There's no putting on a mask. There is no subtle art or act of manipulation. There is no coercion. The name of the game is authenticity. At Man on Fire, we don't teach men tricks. There is nothing simple about what needs to take place. This is called your willingness to take a deeper dive into your own growth as a man. I'm not here to give you a magical phrase, a magical saying. There's no magical pill. There's no magical potion. There's no magical lotion. No. What will tie all of this together is your willingness and your desire and your hunger to want to grow yourself as a man. You're not going to read some magical sentence in a book, and you're not going to hear some magical sentence that comes out of my mouth that is going to just turn your life around. That's not how it works, because the energy that you're giving off, the energy that you're exuding, your resonance, your frequency, your wavelength, your vibration, which is all your energy, is what's telling the story. So it's not about the words. It's not about some trick. None of that will work. This must come from a deep level of authenticity, and you must be willing to live into this next version of yourself. So the number 1 way to get her back is first to recognize that it's not about getting her back. This is the common misconception. I cannot tell you how many guys come to me, David, how do I get her back? What do I do? I read in this book this, I heard on this video that, I learned at this seminar this, and my answer is nothing can be done other than you recognizing it's not about you getting her back. Because what most likely needs to happen is you, sir, yes, you, I'm talking to you, must learn to get yourself back. You've been lost. You've lost your way. You breached the integrity. You need to take ownership. You need to take responsibility. You need to see where you drop standard and where you drop presence. You need to see where you weren't showing up in the fullness of who you are. You need to show where you leaked your energy. You need to come clean with where watching porn and going to strip clubs or gambling or masturbation, thinking about other women, or overworking and hiding from your relationship, or zoning out watching TV or playing video games. Whatever it is, you need to look at where have you been. Now, please understand from all of the Man on Fire teachings, this is never, and I repeat, never about blame. This is never about fault. I'm not pointing my finger at you saying you did this. It's your fault. You're to blame. No. Blame and fault reside at a very low frequency, just like you understand that fear and anxiousness and sadness and rage and jealousy are all a different emotion and sit at a different vibrational capacity and range than love and rapture and awe and reverence and grace and gratitude. They all carry a frequency. So blame and fault carries a frequency. So let's take that out of that box of blame and fault, and let's put this into the box of responsibility and ownership. Where can I, with eyes wide open, non-defensive, no ego involved, where I'm edging God out, where can I take an honest inventory and recognize, where have I lost me? Where have I lost me and I need to get myself back? What ownership and what responsibility can I take that will bring me into further congruence, that will bring me into further alignment, that will bring me into further authenticity, into coherence with an up-level version of me, more in line with the version that can access and reach my true potential, the one that I signed on for between myself and my creator. That's the game that we're after. So what she wishes that you knew is that it's not so much about getting her back, it is about you just bringing the real you to the equation. You bringing the real you, the right you. I want to actually read a quote to you that I got this off of Facebook several months ago, and I want to read it to you guys. I'm going to see if I can find it. But I think this will kind of sum up what I'm saying. And we share this all the time with the brothers in our community. And it's this. Perhaps the biggest mistake that I've made in the past was that I believed love was about finding the right person. In reality, love is about becoming the right person. Don't look for the person that you want to spend your life with. Become the person that you want to spend your life with. So what does all this mean? What does this translate into? It translates into, in order for you to have a successful relationship, you have to bring forward the version of you, the parts of you that are ready to live at that level of authenticity, that are ready to live with a higher amount of congruence, that are ready to live with a greater and deeper level of commitment. That version of you that could be more decisive, that version of you that's more disciplined, that version of you, and this is the number one secret, how to get her back, is it's got to be the version of you that wants to grow. You see, if she came back tomorrow, nothing will have changed because you haven't changed yet. You haven't shifted, other than maybe you got nervous and you got anxious and you got terrified to be alone because you still have those cords that you haven't cut of codependency, where your strings are intertwined with your woman, or your strings are still intertwined with things external to you, the car, the house, the money, the job, the woman that you're with, and your entire existence and your value structure is all meshed up with the externals. And your validation keeps coming from those outside of you. And what she wishes you knew is that the ticket to getting her back is to get yourself back, to find the real you, that version of you that's rooted, that version of you that's grounded, that version of you that knows who you are, that version of you that's connected to your power center, that version of you that's dialed into your heart and your intuitive knowing, that walks with your sword of truth, and that version of you that has a deep and reverent relationship with your creator. That's what she wants. She comes back tomorrow and you haven't lived into that version of you, you're going to repeat the same cycle like a hamster on the wheel. You've all seen the movie Groundhog Day. You know exactly what tomorrow will look like. It will look like today, because no thing about you has changed other than your desperation of, I want to get her back. I know I messed up. I know I screwed up. I did this. I did that. Okay, so what do you need to do? You're going to need to, number one, decide that you're ready to grow as a man and surround yourself in a culture of men that will push you, stretch you, and challenge you to grow. Number two, you're going to have to clean up all the past betrayals by taking radical responsibility and ownership. By the way, guys, I'm not excusing anything that your partner may have done or may not have done, nor am I blaming them. And there will come a point in time where they could take their own conscious responsibility or ownership of where maybe they drop standard in the relationship, whether it was through cheating or whether it's through some other means, a withdrawing or withholding of love. I'm not excusing any of that. What I am saying is that it's very rare that you'll be with a woman that can take this level of ownership and responsibility unless you as a man have cultivated a safe enough space for you to even step into that energy. And most of us are like this. Most of us are defended. Most of us are gaslighting. We're in our ego. And we're not creating the space to have safety in communication. So she wishes that you recognize that you can't get her back unless you get yourself back and you bring forward a version of you that's truly ready to be in a mature relationship. And you have to recognize that to have that, you have to be committed to a life of growth and you have to have the hunger, right? We don't have men enter into our community. I'm talking about the guys outside of our Facebook community, outside of guys that are just watching our YouTube videos and Instagram and everything like this. I'm talking about the guys that have come to one of our immersions, our 4-day event, where we get you in a room with 24 plus men and my team, and we take you all the way through the pain and help you find yourself. We help you face your demons. We help you face the monster, the shadow, the darkness, the stuff you wanted to push down, the stuff you wanted to get away from. And we create a safe environment for you guys to face that stuff and to turn your shame and to turn your guilt and to turn your unworthiness into rocket fuel for transformation and for change. And we help awaken that sleeping lion inside of you that's in his self-imprisoned cage where the door's been open and you haven't exited because it's been so long since you've been the real version of you. So what does she wish you knew? And what's the greatest way to get her back is get yourself back. Find out who you are. Come back to the remembrance of who you are. Be the lighthouse. Be the portal of remembrance. Shine your light so bright that anyone in the family, including your wife, will find their way back to you because you've found your light again. That's what she wants. Now, what's one simple little breathing technique that all of you can do to start getting in your power is, and you've heard this, maybe you've done yoga, things of this nature, you can do nose breathing, in and out the nose, which is a breath of fire. It's a breath that builds chi. You think of a bull that's getting ready to fight the matador. He's breathing in the nose, out the nose. You think of Clubber Lang when he was about to beat on Rocky, breathing in and out the nose. You think of McFly when he was about to punch out Biff, breathing in the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose. So for 60 seconds, you breathe in and out the nose, holding your body still, funneling the energy up, rooted in the earth, pulling that energy up. Snot should be coming out of your nose, and you should be building this energy like a volcano that wants to erupt, and then you learn to contain that energy. And when you can't contain it anymore, plain and simply, you say the word enough. Enough. And what you're saying enough to is enough of playing small, enough of dropping my standard, enough of living beneath the contract of the man that I was born to be, enough of selling my wife short, enough of selling my soul short, enough of selling my potential short, enough of selling my family and my kids short. Enough. Enough of the immature masculine running my life. Enough. It ends today. And then you can say something like, I deserve so much more than this, or my soul deserves so much more than this. I learned a lot of this from one of my teachers, Donnie. God bless him for teaching me these amazing things. But they're not going to make a difference unless you put it to practice. Learning something intellectually won't change you unless you're willing to do the work. So 60 seconds of intense nose breathing where you want to explode, and you explode into the word enough. That's where you create a boundary, a boundary where you say no more violating myself. Self-respect. That is your ticket. All right. So for those of you watching this, put something in the comments. What are you hearing in what I'm sharing? What is resonating for you? What is landing for you? What's the light bulb that's going off? What's the big aha? Share with me your new revelation. What are you coming to hear? What are you coming to see? What are you coming to know? Put it in the comments, and then we'll move on to answer some of the questions that were submitted. Put it in the chat. What are you hearing, guys? What are you hearing? Get yourself back. That's right. Enough is enough. Time to take action. Correct. It has nothing to do with fault. It has nothing to do with blame. This has to do with you as a man and your willingness to take conscious ownership and responsibility of your own life and recognize that what's showing up in your life, what is showing up in your life is a product of what you're giving off. You are an antenna. You are giving off a signal. You're giving off a frequency. You're giving off a wavelength. You're giving off a vibration. You're giving off energy. And everything that's showing up in your life is because of you. There's no blame. There is no fault. There is only the coherence and congruence of coming back into alignment with the real you. That is your antidote. You want to vaccinate something? Vaccinate your mind. All right, here we go. Let's get into some of the questions that were submitted. One of the questions that was submitted to us that I want to address is the significant other and I split up about a month ago. I am a truck driver. For 2 years, I complained about her being on the phone when I came home. It felt like that phone and her friends were more important. Should I have just left it alone? I miss her. I had plans to propose to her in a few months. I'm not saying it's all her fault because I was to blame and I want to become a better me. All right. Good for you. Good for you, brother. So let's get to this. So the thing to recognize is that the conversation that most of you are having with your partner is not really the conversation that needs to be had. And what do I mean by that? Well, one of our Man on Fire teachings is that communication is more about what's not being said more so than what is being said. Let me say that again. Communication is more about what's not being said, meaning the withholds. What are you withholding? As opposed to what is being said. And so more than likely, our conversations sit on the surface. And we have to get to the deeper conversation. So for example, in this gentleman's submission of his question, the deeper conversation is, babe, is there something going on between us that you're not telling me? I can feel that you've withdrawn your energy. I can feel that it's hard for you to just sit still and be with me. Is there something that I've done? Is there something that I've put into the space? Is there a lack of safety that I've created where I feel a gap in our intimacy? I feel a gap in our ability to be vulnerable with us, where we both turn to things like TV and our cell phones and our computer and Facebook and all of these distractions rather than just being with each other. Can you share with me if I've done something that's pushing you away? Is there something going on that you want to talk to me about? That's how you can open up a conversation, right? There's no blame. There's no fault. There's no, why are you doing this? Why are you giving the phone more attention than me? I mean, how well is a conversation going to go with that energy where there's more blame in the air rather than just saying, hey, I recognize that the intimacy between us and the connection between us has faded away a little bit and I want to address it. I want to find out what's going on because I still effing love you. I want to be with you. I want you to be my wife. I can't imagine how painful it is and how hard it is for you when I'm traveling all the time. And I recognize that that must leave a gap and an emptiness. And I'm sure you've found ways to fill that. And I just want to make sure that there are ways that are healthy. There are ways that are healthy for you. There are ways that are healthy for us. Let's talk about it. So it's an inviting conversation. And as a reminder, gentlemen, this is not about my words and you, oh, let me write that down. Let me write down what David said. Let me say that. No. This is about your ability to take your own words and be authentic and allow your words to match your energy. Because the person that you're in conversation with, your significant other, she will remember the feeling that she had, not the words that you spoke. She will remember the feeling that she had more so than the words you're speaking. It's the experience of the energy being shared, which means you have to be congruent in your energy, which, by the way, guys, this is exactly why we invite you all the time to apply to one of our coaching programs, because you're not getting it from a book. You're not getting it from a video. You're going to get this when you get it in your body. And the saying is simple. You don't know it until your life shows it. And said differently, your life won't show it until you own it in your body, until you own it in your physiology. So what we're up to at Man on Fire is helping you guys own this in your body. All right, let's move on to the next question. For those of you that came onto this video a little bit late, you're going to want to go back and you're going to want to discover the top 2 ways to get her back, what's been in the way of you getting her back, find out what she's really thinking and wishes you knew, and learn that 60-second breathing technique to grow your attraction. I talked about that at the beginning of this video. Make sure you go back and watch it. And if you stay to the end, I'll reiterate it. All right. So next question. My wife and I are separated and have been living separately for 5 months. She sees divorce as the only option for us. I was blindsided when she told me she was done, that she felt no passion or connection in our marriage. I played the victim and only made everything worse. Stuck in my head, passive aggressive, acting like a little boy and seeking her approval. I want to own everything. I did tell her that I don't blame her for leaving and I want to divorce the guy I used to be. How do I approach this conversation in a way where she doesn't immediately shut me down? Beautiful question, and thank you for your depth of vulnerability here, brother. And I know that that's painful to lose the woman that you love or to feel like you're losing her. So let me just tell you guys a quick story just to create perspective around your question, which is there's a brother in our community. He's now with us for 3 years. And in the first year that he came into our community, he wanted to get her back. They were engaged. She called off the engagement. She said, please don't contact me. Please honor that. And, you've been stuck in your head. You're angry all the time. I can't take it anymore. And I can't be with you. And please leave me alone. Don't reach out by email. Don't text me. Don't call me. Don't show up at my door. Please honor that. Please respect that. So he comes to Man on Fire. And he comes to one of our 4-day immersions. How the hell am I supposed to get this person back when she won't even see me? And that was today's teaching. And today's teaching, for those of you that are tuning in late, is it's never about getting her back. It's about getting you back. And you can't have her back, or you can't have any other woman for that matter, until you've met the real version of you, until you're bringing forward a more congruent version of yourself, just like this gentleman is suggesting about divorcing the old versions of him and marrying a new version of himself. So with this gentleman in our community, he worked on himself for a year straight, and he honored her request, and he kept working on himself, growing, stretching, evolving, letting the brothers push him and challenge him, hold him to the fire of his greatness. And women, in their exquisitely intuitive sensing of the environment, very much like the radar and sonar of bats and dolphins, and the way that dogs and cats and animals can sense their environment, not like men. They can sense the field around them, and they can sense when there's a subtle shift in the energy, right? Like with Yoda saying there's a disturbance in the force, right? So they sense everything. And this woman who had called off the engagement, she sensed her ex-fiance's changes. And wouldn't you know it, next thing you know, they're back in communication. Next thing you know, they're engaged again. And next thing you know, they tied the knot. Kudos to the brother in our community, Dan McDonald, who worked on himself and didn't make it about getting her back, made it about getting himself back and preparing himself, regardless if it was for her or another woman for that matter, knowing that I wouldn't have a chance in a relationship until I get the real me back. And when you do the work, gentlemen, and you join some form of a community that will push you and challenge you and hold you accountable to the real you. I don't mean some fluff therapy group, no offense to therapy. I'm talking about where a group will see past your subtle art of manipulation, where you're hiding the real thing that needs to be exposed. Like another guy in our community that was a part of 2 men's groups, and he had affairs behind his wife's back. I said, did the men in those groups know? I said, well, then they're not the right groups for you. I said, you'd never get away with that in our Man on Fire Brotherhood. Never. We are a group that speaks the truth, and we have no judgment. We have love for one another. And it's through the love of one another and the empathy and compassion that a man will find the courage to speak his truth. Because you'll be powerless until you clean up your lies and indiscretions, gentlemen. I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, I'd rather take it to the grave. Well, you will. You will. To carry the burdens of your indiscretions and your lies will take you to the grave in one way or another. Whether it robs you of the joy of your life or whether it physically takes you to the grave, it will. But in the Man on Fire community, we encourage and stand for men to tell the truth, because from the Bible, the truth shall set you free. There's a reason that we all know this saying. So, getting back to this gentleman's share, what does he need to do? He needs to start working on himself, which is exactly what he's doing, because I happen to know who shared this, and I know that he's joined our community, and I know that he's going to be coming to one of our Man on Fire 4-day immersions shortly. So I'm excited about all the changes that he'll be going through. This is amazing. And what's going to happen is he's going to prepare himself. He's going to prepare the vessel. He's going to prepare for that conversation. Now, the alarming part of what he shared, and I'm sure a lot of you can identify with this, is he shared that he was blindsided when she told me that she was done. Now, how is that possible? And I'll tell you how it's possible, because about 12 years ago, that happened to me. And how it's possible is when you lack presence. You see, most of us as men are good providers and we're good protectors, but most of us haven't learned to be really present. We have this spiritual ADD where we're all over the place. We can't sit still. We're on the phone. We're checking sports, checking messages from work, watching TV, listening to the radio, on the internet. We can't sit still. We don't know how to be present. And if he had learned how to be present and how to emotionally penetrate her and drop the act of being a pleaser and a yes man or gaslighting and steamrolling or looking for her approval and cut the cord of codependency and the intertwining of the strings, we know that he would have had the presence of seeing what's really going on. Even underneath the words that she's not able to speak, we would start to become more intuitively sensitive to the energy that's around us, and we would start to speak into existence exactly what we're sensing and what we're feeling. But most of us men have not cultivated ourselves to this point. This was me up until about age 40, 41. This is why Man on Fire was formed, because of all the ways that I missed the boat and missed the mark in my relationship and all the things that I was never taught as a man, and had a masculine role model teaching me the ways of how to become the warrior, of how to become the king, of how to become present and emotionally and spiritually penetrate my wife. I am that man today, but it took a great deal of loss, a great deal of pain, and a great deal of hurting others to get to that place, which is why I'm so passionate about supporting you guys, because you don't have to go through the same mistakes. So what this gentleman shared is very common among men, including myself, where we just lacked the presence. We lacked the emotional awareness and depth to really see what's going on. So good for you reaching out for support. Good for you signing up for our 4-day immersion. And it's time to teach you how to come back into the remembrance of who you are, so you're shining your light again. I mean, our job is not that challenging, men. It is to be the lighthouse, to shine our light so bright that in our presence others remember who they are. Our job is to take ownership and responsibility for our life and to support as many people as we can along the way. Our life is simple. It's not about problems. It's about helping other people. It's about service, and it's about our willingness to grow. But I can't force that on you. You've heard the expression, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink. You guys have to have the hunger for yourself. Tony Robbins teaches this. What separates one man from another is hunger. You have to have it. I can't give it to you. I could say that for many of you, it's been laying dormant, and it just takes a simple spark at the right time, and bam, we got the fire burning. Get back to being a man on fire. I can tell you that's what the 4-day immersions are all about. Reigniting that fire inside of you that burned out. Getting back to being the real you, the authentic you. That's what this whole discussion is about today, right? The top ways of getting her back? Simple. Get you back. Get you back. All right. Let's move on to another question. My wife and I are getting a divorce. Since she told me, I stayed at the house sometimes, sleeping in my kid's room. But she has since called me to come over for sex or to sleep next to her quite a few times. Could it be she sees me changing back to who she felt head over heels in love with? And is she having second thoughts? Well, I would say that I don't have enough information to suggest one way or the other. What I can tell you is that if you haven't shifted, if you haven't made changes, if you haven't become a more committed man, if you haven't up-leveled your frequency and vibration, if you haven't stepped more into your manhood, if you haven't stepped more into your authentic power, then what's happening is nothing more than codependency, where she's terrified to be alone. And by the way, gentlemen, this is a hot topic. Just because she's sleeping with you doesn't mean that she's into you. In fact, many women will sleep with their man to avoid the more deeply intimate conversations. Many women will actually use sex as a distraction to not have to go into the vulnerable conversations because she likely doesn't trust you and doesn't feel that you have the emotional depth to take her into that conversation. So rather than fight with you and avoid confrontation, she will actually sleep with you. This is very common until she can't violate herself anymore. So I don't know the answer. What I do know is that you have to decide if you want to be back with her, and you have to get clear that it's not coming from a place of codependency. You have to get clear that it's not coming from a place of you not being able to cut the cord and you needing external validation. And if you're willing to grow and up-level yourself and recognize it's not about getting her back, it's about getting you back, great. In which case, just speak from your heart, speak authentically, show up as the real version of you, and of course she'll be attracted to that. That's all they want from us, guys. Come back into the remembrance of who you truly are. Come back into being a more authentic, congruent, coherent, aligned version of the real you. That's all I want. But it sounds so simple, but yet it's more complex because that would require your willingness to grow. And you've heard me share, and we've heard this and read this. Your growth begins at the end of your comfort zone. And most of you have become too comfortable. Most of you have become indoctrinated into a life of complacency, blandness, averageness, ordinary. Can't help you there until you can see that that's happening, until you actually want to do something about it. And if you do, let us know. Put it in the chat. I want to grow. I want to grow. I'm ready. I'm ready to up level. I'm ready to ignite that hunger inside of me. I'm ready to become a different version of myself. If you're ready, put it in the chat. Let us know you're ready, and I'll have someone from my team reach out to you. He'll take you through a series of questions. He'll see if you are genuine. He'll see if you are sincere. He'll see if you're ready to invest your time, your resources, your energy, and money into your evolution as a man. And for those of you that are not, and you just want free Facebook support or Instagram or YouTube, and you want to keep watching videos, great, soak it up. But if your life is not reflecting what you're learning intellectually, then it's time to take a deeper dive into your own growth. And more often than not, the way it works, and I could say that this is how it worked for me and how I started turning my life around age 40, is the more you invest, the more invested you are. And what I mean by invest is invest in yourself. Grow yourself. Spend money on taking seminars that are going to up-level you as a man. Don't spend money on stuff that's not contributing to your wellness and your growth. I've spent literally hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars on myself to grow as a man, and it's worth it, and I'll continue to do it. The best of the best have coaches, have teachers, have mentors, have experts. That's how you grow. Most guys, though, they see that as a sign of weakness. I'll figure it out on my own. Yeah, you will. You will. The question is, how old will you be when you wake up? How much time will you have wasted? And you've heard me share before, gentlemen. Lost time is never found. Lost time is never found. One of my favorite quotes, Ben Franklin. Lost time is never found. What are you waiting for? It's time. All right, let's go on to the next question. I work 6 days a week, and my woman is a stay-at-home mom. Yesterday was her birthday. I surprised her with her favorite foods, but I couldn't get her any physical gifts because she would have opened the packages as soon as they arrived. I slept in my son's room last night after getting my ass chewed out in front of our guests because there wasn't a physical birthday gift to open. It was the worst night in our 10-year relationship. I don't want this to be the end. How do I reclaim my dominance as the man of the house and make this woman my soulmate fall back into my arms? All right, I apologize, but I'm not fully understanding what happened here. I'm not understanding why he got her favorite foods, but why he didn't get her a physical gift. I'm a little confused about that. So my apologies for not fully understanding this. But regarding this question, what I can say is that the way to get her back and back into your arms is to listen to my entire video, is to learn how to get yourself back, is to learn how to be the more congruent and coherent and authentic version that you truly are, to raise your bar, to raise your standard, to step closer into your potential and radiate that. Radiate the real you. And a woman will want to be back with you when you've decided to be back with yourself, when you've decided to bring back the real you. This is not, gentlemen, for those of you tuning in late, it is not about getting her back. She comes back tomorrow, nothing has changed. Nothing. Because until you have the hunger, backed with the courage, backed with the commitment, backed with support, challenge, and accountability, you're not going to grow. It's not coming from a line in a book, in a movie, in a video. It's not coming from an intellectual understanding. You're going to have to embody this. You're going to have to own it and wear it and exude it in your physiology. This is where the work begins. There are no shortcuts. There is no magical pill. There is no magical potion, and there is no magical lotion. You must be willing to roll up your sleeves Get down in the mud, get down in the dirt, get down in the trenches, get out of the stands, get on the field, and do the work. All right, next question that was submitted. My ex-girlfriend of 5 years cheated on me last month. Thankfully, I had watched about 10 hours of Man on Fire videos on Facebook 1 week before she admitted it. Thanks to you, I knew how to react. I admitted to her I was in my head and not in my heart. And she apologized in tears, saying she didn't think I loved her. I validated her. I took responsibility and owned that I didn't show up as the man that she deserved. I haven't even read the rest of it, but I'm blown away by what this man has done. She moved out and wants to be friends and possibly work things out in the future. But she said she doesn't know what she wants in life, doesn't know who she is. She's softening, and I'm working to address the past betrayals one by one. Do you have any suggestions? Well, I know that this gentleman in less than 2 weeks will be at, or within 2 months actually, will be at one of our 4-day immersions. So I know he's going to get supported live by myself and the coaches. But in the meantime, what I will share with him is that you're right on course. And this is what I mean, guys. For you to heal a relationship with a woman, we've already established from today's video that you will have to start getting yourself back. You will have to start coming into greater alignment with the real version of you, the more up-level version of you that is getting closer and closer to living into your potential. The man that is rooted and solidified in the knowingness of who he is. He has nothing to prove to the world. He doesn't need anything external to him that's going to validate who he is. You own your boundaries. You own your power. You trust your intuitive knowing. You're connected to your heart. You have a beautiful relationship with your source, with your creator. This is what every woman wants from every man, and this is not for every man. Not every man is ready for that life, that commitment, shedding their ego, shedding their personality, giving up their act, and stepping into this life. Not every man's ready for this. So he's on the right track. He's taking steps to do this, and how I know that is he signed up for one of our 4-day immersions. So what else can he do? Well, as what he can do while he's friends with this woman is he can share with her revelations that he's come to, and he can start cleaning up past betrayals, going back to the earliest one, and bringing to her awareness that he's aware of where he dropped standard, and he can't even imagine how much that hurt her or what that must have felt like for her, and that she deserved more from him, and that if he could do it all over again, here's how I would have handled it. Now, those words, again, are all great, but they're not going to mean anything unless you embody them. They won't mean anything unless she can feel the energy behind your words, which is exactly why he's coming to our 4-day immersion, to prepare his vessel, his body, for congruence behind his words, because she'll be impacted by the energy you're giving off more so than the languaging that you're using. So for those of you writing down what I said, oh, I like what David said here, let me use that. It won't work. There's no tricks in our community. The trick is called authenticity. There is no trick. So the other thing to recognize is being respectful of where your partner is at, where your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or wife or fiance or ex-wife, where are they at in their journey? Maybe they are confused. Maybe they don't know who they are. Maybe they do need to cut their own cords of codependence. Maybe they've had enough betrayals by the masculine, from the father to ex-boyfriends to maybe an ex-husband, and maybe their guard is up and the walls are up and maybe they're not ready to trust again. So what do you do other than show understanding? Help them understand that you get it and speak that into existence. And you just keep showing up day in and day out as the powerful force that you are as a man. And if she's ready for that, if she's ready to live into that vibration, if she's ready to be with a man that's committed to up-leveling himself and bringing all of himself to the relationship, great. Then her walls will come down and she'll expose herself, because by you shining your light, she will find hers. And if it's not this woman, it will be another woman that wants that and that is ready for that. So great for you, brother. You're on the right track. I can't wait to meet you in a short period of time. Keep up the awesome work. And thank you for all the guys that have submitted questions and are allowing themselves to be vulnerable. I deeply honor your willingness to share so openly and transparently. All right. Let's get to the next question. There's a few more here. My wife and I are separated. Our relationship has been toxic and she left because she was tired of me. I lost myself 5 years ago and started dropping standard. Great awareness. She cheated on me at the beginning of our relationship. I forgave her, but kept that in my mind for years. She never forgave me for things I did when I was immature, when I was my immature self. She started talking to me as if nothing happened. I want her back. I just don't want her to feel it's okay to talk as if nothing happened between us. How do I address this? You address this by being honest. You address this by letting her know that you set the relationship up to fail from the beginning. You eradicated the trust right out of the gates by cheating. And give me a second. I want to make sure that I got my facts straight. Give me a moment. I see that she cheated. Yeah. You let her know that in her cheating, that it activated the wound inside of you, and that you then dropped standard of how you were showing up in the marriage, and that your ego and your pride got in the way, and unconsciously and unknowingly, but this is not an excuse, that this gave you the excuse to not treat her with the utmost respect that her heart and soul deserve, and that you felt justified because of what she did to get away with the stuff that you were doing. And we all know that two rights don't make a wrong. And we all know, just like a brother in our community, Gino, who for 16 years punished his wife, punished her for an emotional affair she had through texting. And every fight they would ever get into, he would bring up, but why did you do that? But why did you do that? But why did you do that? Thank God he came to our Man on Fire 4-day immersion. I tore him a new one. My wife tore him a new one. She shows up at some of our events, and she helped him see, and we helped him see as a brotherhood, well, what have you done? What have you done? How have you dubbed yourself, perfect? What have you done that you're not proud of, that you've hidden from her? Scratching his head. Well, what do you mean? I never cheated. So one of the brothers, and this is what happens at the 4-day immersions, we help each other see the stuff that's invisible. One of the brothers said, well, what did you do before you got married? And what was revealed is that up until the day before he got married to his wife, up until the day before that, he was having an affair. And somehow in his mind, he spun it as, I don't need to tell her, because from that day forward, I showed up as a committed man, a committed husband, a committed father, and I never leaked my energy. And I've been an amazing husband. And so it's different what happened before we were married as opposed to since we've been married, and what she did happen when we were married. I mean, this is the insanity that you guys BS yourselves with, which is exactly why you want to immerse yourself in a culture of men that will call you out and say, what do you help you see that you're just being dishonest with yourself and you're living a lie. So we call you forward into a deeper level of truth that your soul deserves. And so what he discovered was that he needed to go tell his wife what took place 17 years prior and let her know he had been punishing her for those 17 years. And he was terrified to do that because he knew not only would it destroy the image that he's built around him about himself, but it also might mean that he might lose her. And my wife told him straight up, that's a risk that a man on fire takes, because you have to honor her soul and come clean. And if she leaves, she leaves. But you can hold your head up high knowing you finally told the truth and honored her soul. So as the story goes, they've renewed their vows and they're in an unbelievably intimate relationship, marriage, for the first time ever, because now there's no more lies. There's no more withholds. So for the gentleman that submitted this question, it's the same thing. You have to understand how you've really sold her short in when she cheated, how you really dropped being the man that you're capable of being. It doesn't excuse her. Again, it's not about blame, guys. It's not about shame. It's not about fault. It's about your honest inventory and discovery of, well, who was I being that even contributed to her cheating? I'm not saying she doesn't have to take ownership for what she did. You as a man have to take ownership for where did you possibly contribute to the dynamic of what showed up in the marriage. Am I justifying cheating? No. Am I suggesting that it's okay? No. Am I condoning it? No. It's not about that. It's about recognizing that what shows up in your relationship is in relationship to you, and that things don't just happen to you, they happen because of you. And again, it's not through the lens of blame and fault. It's through the lens of conscious ownership and responsibility. So I invite you to go have a really authentic, deeply penetrating, emotional conversation with your wife, and trust that you can do that. You got this, brother. All right. We got a couple more questions. We'll see how many I can get to. We got 5 more. I don't think I'll get through all of them, guys. Let's get to the next one. I believe my wife wants to recharge herself, listen to her heart and thoughts, decide what she is going to do about the ass that she is married to. I have this heavy feeling that I'm screwed. She has told me all she has ever wanted was for me to show up. I'm in the man on fire to do the work. How do I grow myself and improve my relationship with my wife while still working throughout the day? Okay, just for clarity, this man is, as far as I know, not in Man on Fire. He is a part of our free Facebook group. When we talk about Man on Fire, we're talking about one of our coaching programs, whether it's the Fire Starter, which is our initial initiation program, or whether it's our Ignited coaching program, which includes our 4-day immersion, our signature event, or whether it's you're in our inner chamber, our year-long deep dive. He's not in one of those programs. So I just want to be clear about that. So what he is saying is exactly what I've taught today. What he is saying is, how do I get her back? And what he is saying is that he recognizes that the way to get her back is to get himself back. And so he's recognizing that because he's been living below the standard of the man that he was born to be, she's within millimeters of leaving him. Unlike somebody earlier that shared he was blindsided. This man is aware that it's coming. So what does he need to do? Exactly what he said. He needs to do the work. But part of doing the work is, don't do it on your own. Yeah, there's things you need to do on your own, but you can't do this alone, guys. Not unless you're Goggins, the guy that's running a marathon every day, and you're a Navy SEAL like he was, and you're able to have that level of motivation and discipline. My God, I mean, that's 0.00001% of us. For the rest of us, get in a group that's going to lift you up. Get in a group, a culture, an environment, a brotherhood that will challenge you and stretch you and push you to be the real man that you were born to be. That's how you grow faster. That's how you compress time. Get involved in that. That's growth. Be held accountable by other men. That's growth. So how do you do it? Is get your butt to a seminar. Even if it's not Man on Fire. Of course I'm biased. Of course I'm going to invite you into my program. But I'll be the first to admit there's amazing programs out there. Thank God. Thank God I'm not the only mentor out there that are supporting men in transforming their lives and up-leveling their consciousness and stepping into the masculine leaders they're born to be and having more passion, power, and purpose in their life. Thank God. But the one that I could be accountable for and the results that I could be accountable to is Man on Fire, because that's my company. All right, let's move on to another question. For those of you sticking around on this video, good for you. All right, my wife and I have been together for 8 years and married for 5. She has had 2 affairs, one physical and another one was emotional. The emotional affair took more of a toll on me than the physical affair. Work used to be my escape from the hardships at home, and now I live with all the hardships all day, every day. I always catch myself asking, what if I would have done this or that? Would it have come to that? What would be the first step to reconnect that love and passion that I once carried? Thank you for being transparent and vulnerable and sharing this with us, brother. So this entire thing that you shared, this question, we've covered in this entire video. Now, the mind that we have, this hamster that goes on a wheel or a merry-go-round that goes nowhere, right? It's just, you can't escape the mind. The mind is just going to take you on its own, down its own rabbit hole into the abyss of nowhere. And it's going to mess with you all day long. And it's going to be the what ifs. It's going to play Monday morning. I wish I, what if I could have, should have, had I, then I. You got to graduate from that and stop punishing yourself and just feel the guilt, feel the shame, let it eat you up and move through it to the other side. And in facing those emotions, which is exactly what we teach men how to do, in facing those emotions, what happens next is you decide who you want to be moving forward. I can't change the past me, but I can change the present me. And if I'm willing to make empowered decisions starting today, I can start living into a new version of myself. Starts with one step, starts with one decision, backed by commitment. Now, most men make decisions, but they don't honor their commitments, which is why it's important to join brotherhoods, because brothers help you honor your commitments. Brothers will support you and challenge you and hold you accountable. Most of us don't know how to honor commitments because when we made the commitment, we made it where our energy peak was high. We made it in a different state, a different energy. Starting tomorrow, I'm hitting the gym, right? You just watched Rocky. Of course, starting tomorrow, you're hitting the gym. Well, why don't you hit it right then and there? Why don't you drop and do 100 push-ups and start right there and do some squats and sit-ups? Starting tomorrow, sentence of death. And then the alarm clock goes off tomorrow, and you know exactly how it goes. That voice in your head that wants to kill you or rob you of your true potential, that voice says, hit snooze, big guy. Hit snooze. Don't listen. You don't got to go to the gym right now. Hit snooze, and 5 more snoozes. And then the voice tells you, go after work. Well, but there were a lot of fires to put out at work, and the wife needs me at home, and the kids are crying, and you know what? I'll just go tomorrow or the next day. And you know exactly how it goes. So what could this gentleman do is, just like I've been teaching this entire video, you can get back to being the real you. You can come back into alignment and into congruence with an up-level version of yourself where you're living into a greater level of your potential. And if you don't know how to do that, guys, then guess what? Just like if you wanted to learn to play golf, you take lessons. If you wanted to learn to get better at anything, you take lessons, you hire an expert, you hire a mentor, you hire a specialist, you hire a pro. Get involved. Get involved with those that are doing it. That's what Man on Fire is all about. It's a brotherhood of men challenging, supporting, and holding one another accountable to the fire of our greatness. That's what we're about. All right. Let's get to another question, shall we? I've been separated for over 3 years, practicing celibacy until I can get my head clear and go through my program. What techniques can I use to deflect or transfer my bottled up sexual appetite so I don't go crazy? How do I release or channel all this energy? Such a beautiful question. Such a beautiful question. And my simple answer is I actually teach some techniques and some breathing exercises that can support with this. It's not something that I can teach here on the free Facebook Live group. It would require a different video setup, and it would require a more vulnerable and intimate environment where the safety of what I'm sharing is really protected, and I don't believe that we can pull this off on this venue. So what I can suggest to this gentleman is that he can start Googling things of this nature and start reading about it and look for somebody that also might be a professional that can offer support with this. Now, I happen to know that he's in one of my coaching programs, so I'm going to tell you that we will answer this question directly in our Firestarter call next Tuesday night. We will answer this question directly in our Firestarter call next Tuesday night, and we will have one of our specialists on our team, Kai, come on and speak exactly to this, because this is something that he teaches, how to harness one's chi, how to cultivate your own energy and not leak it out, and learn how to channel it and use it for good. So I'm excited about your question, and we will make sure that we get this handled next Tuesday night in our Firestarter coaching call. All right, how many more, guys? So I have to answer the questions here. Oh, last one. Here we go. Here we go. All right, I need self-esteem, confidence, and to forgive myself. I am the nice guy that bought things because nobody could like me for me. I ruined a phenomenal relationship, and since my brother engaged in it, it has gotten substantially worse. It's totally gone. I never had a chance to talk to her or give my side of the story. Should I just let that go and accept that I screwed up, continue working on myself so I don't do this again? All right. Another courageous and vulnerable share. So let's get to some support. And this is another man that's coming to our 4-day immersion, and he will absolutely get to the other side of this question. So what is underneath the question is simple. And what's simple is this. This is going to be about giving up there being a magical pill, potion, lotion, or answer to your question. This is about your heartfelt desire and your hunger to want to up-level and grow yourself as a man. This is about getting you back. This is about you seeing that you must cut the cord of codependency and recognize that for you to feel better about yourself, it's not going to be because she comes back. It's not going to be because somebody told you you're great. It's not going to be because somebody says they love you. You will not be lit up, and you will not be filled, and you will not be free by external forms of validation. What I'm hearing underneath his question is he needs to reclaim his own boundaries and his own self-respect and his own power. And in doing so, he won't need external validation from anybody. He won't need opinions or advice, nor will he be swayed by those that are offering up advice that are not congruent and consistent with his deeper soul knowing, his intuitive guidance. And what's going to happen when he comes to our 4-day immersion is we're going to help him embody his masculine energy. We're going to help him embody his true authentic power. We're going to help him embody his ability to be decisive and disciplined and focused and maintain and command his focus. And in this energetic state of embodiment where you're exuding and you're giving off this vibration, if this relationship is meant to come back into harmony, if it's meant to come back together, it will happen because of your energy shift. And this sums up exactly what we were talking about today. For those of you that have chimed in late, have tuned in late, this is all about you recognizing that it is not about getting her back. It is about getting you back. This is about you recognizing that you must detach from feeling and thinking that if I could just get her back, I'll be okay. No, you won't. You're coming from a place of neurosis. You're coming from a place of codependency. You're coming from a place of externally sourced validation, and that won't do it. Not the car, not the money, not the lady. It won't do it. And even if it does, it won't last. You must get you back. And she wishes you knew that. And she wishes you knew that you have to reclaim your own power and come back into the portal of remembrance of who you are and reclaim being the lighthouse. That's what this journey is all about, gentlemen. So how do you do that? Get involved in one of our coaching programs. Get involved in our Firestarter coaching program, which is a 90-day program. Get involved in our Ignited coaching program, which includes the Firestarter program and also includes a 4-day live immersion where you're locked in a room for 4 straight days with myself and the team and 24 to 30 other men, where we teach you how to get out of your self-imprisoned cage and how to actually start feeling again, how to start living again, how to start coming back to life and finding that fire inside of you and giving it off to the world. How do you learn more about that? Type it below. I am ready to grow. Big capital letters. I am ready to grow. What that means is a coach, someone from our team, our ambassador, Mr. Tiago, will reach out to you and he will take you through some questions and he will find out if you're truly ready. Are you ready to invest in yourself, your time, your energy, your money? Are you ready to invest? Yes, our coaching programs require an investment. And you should know that you're worth it, your life is worth it, and those in your life are worth it. If you want just the free service, you keep coming to these Facebook Lives. I love serving you guys. I've been doing it for a couple of years straight. I come on every Wednesday, and I'm happy to come to the Facebook Lives. I'm happy to come on to the YouTube channel, the Instagram, You name it. I'm all over all the social platforms, helping you guys as much as I can, giving back. And for those of you that want a deeper level of attention, a deeper level of support, a deeper level of being challenged and held accountable, it's going to require you get involved in one of our programs. So if that's you and you're ready for that, type it below. I'm ready to grow. All right, guys, it's your Man on Fire mentor, Dave Mailer, saying it's time for all of us to rise with more passion, more power, and more purpose. God bless, and I love you, and I'll see you guys on the next video. One more thing. Put in the comments below, what's your takeaway from today? What's the biggest aha? What is your biggest takeaway? We read the comments. They matter to us. Let us know. Give us the likes. Give us the thumbs up. Send some fire emojis and let us know what you got. Much love, guys.